Dylan, the young guru Harper, Ace, the Candyman Bailey. I don't think I don't think that's real nicknames for either one of those guys, but Ace Bailey should definitely consider the Candyman nickname. I think that would be pretty badass for him. Anyway, we'll get right into it. I've been doing a little series comparing some of these draft prospects. Today, we'll be comparing two of the top prospects, the two teammates, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. Um, Definitely different types of players. They play different positions. Obviously, Dylan Harper's a point guard. Ace Bailey plays the small forward position. Um, but they're both super talented and super exciting prospects coming in. Down here we have Ace the Candyman Bailey, and up top we have Dylan the young guru Harper. So we'll start with minutes per game. That's always what I start off with. That's important when you're comparing stats, of course. But we have Dylan here at 13 and a half. Ace Bailey's at, we'll just round that up to 34 minutes. So Ace Bailey's a good minute and a half ahead of his teammate Harper up here. All right. I guess first things first. We'll start with the points per game. 20.1 points per game for Dylan Harper. Oh, excuse me. Where we have Ace Bailey down here at 19.3 points per game. What's really impressive with Dylan Harper, 49.8% from the field. We're just going to give him 50% from the field. That's fair. He deserves it. But yeah, if I scroll up, right here, Dylan Harper, he's 6'6", 215 pounds. He's just a beast for a point guard. Oversized point guard, obviously, at 6'6". If you didn't see my previous video or any of those previous ones, I think I made this comparison a couple of times. If you don't know who Stephon Castle is on the Spurs, that's my comp, my young comparison for Dylan Harper. Stephon Castle was 6'6", 215 pounds when he came out as well. And Stephon Castle, from day one, he's stronger than a lot of the pros out there already. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, he comes in and just bullies. He bullies shooting guards. He especially bullies point guards. He's strong enough to finish over centers, power forwards, and he's athletic enough to do that as well. And I see the same thing with Dylan Harper, with him being 6'6", just so strong for his position. He can post up point guards. He can finish inside. Over most people with his strength and his athleticism. 35% from three, so he's got a solid three-point shot as well. But yeah, just super promising for Dylan Harper, especially with his size at 6'6", at the point guard position. Yeah, that's super impressive. 50% from the field is impressive for any position these days, to be honest, especially for your point guard, though. If you come down here, rather, this is Ace Bailey down low, 6'10", 200 pounds. So great height, great wingspan as well. The comparison for Ace Bailey that everyone makes, it's totally fair, as well as Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant even spoke on Ace Bailey and said that Ace Bailey's better than Durant was at that age. I don't know if that's true or not, or if Kevin Durant was just being nice. But, that's high praise from the Slim Reaper. But, yeah, the Kevin Durant comparison is definitely fair. Ace Bailey, 37% from three, so he's a knockdown three-point shooter. That's on 5 attempts per game. So that's going to translate to the NBA, especially with him being 6'10". He has a very nice shot from three-point range, great mechanics on it. And again, it's definitely going to translate. He can shoot over anybody. 46% from the field compared to Dylan Harper's 50% from the field. So again, just so impressive from Dylan Harper being at 50% from the field. He's 4% clear of Ace Bailey. And Ace Bailey's shooting 2 more field goal attempts per game than Dylan Harper as well. So Bailey's the best raw talent in the draft, I would say, and he still is a raw talent. He probably has the most developing out of these other superstar style talents in the draft. Of course, you can pick more of a mid-level first-round player that has more developing than Ace Bailey. But as far as these superstar prospect talents like Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. I feel like Ace Bailey has the most raw talent and needs the most like molding, if that makes sense. Um, I feel like Cooper Flag has the most kind of overall talent. He's the most ready to go package coming out of college. Um, but 3-4 years into their career, we'll have to see how things look. I anticipate all three of these guys being very good at that point. Um, but if you have watched Rutgers games, Ace Bailey's just a raw talent. He doesn't. I'm not saying he takes bad shots all the time. He does take some bad shots, but he's freaking 6'10". He can just shoot over anybody. He just has such a nice shot from the mid range, such a nice shot from the 3-point line. If you watch his game just the other day, he had a shot where he's going right and he hits that step back reverse between the legs move. You know what I'm talking about? And he just shoots a three right in this guy's face. It just reminds me so much of Kevin Durant at a young age. But yeah, coming back to the field goal percentage though, crazy Dylan Harper shoots 4% higher than Ace Bailey, even though Ace Bailey's getting 2 more field goal attempts per game. Which kind of brings me back to that point I was making with Ace Bailey just being a raw scorer. He's the best pure scoring prospect in the draft. Again, you can see he takes 16 field goal attempts per game. I never want to see him taking less than 16 attempts per game. He's just so good and so talented. Him taking that many shots is part of him developing as well. You have to take shots in the game, to get better at making shots in the game. That's just how it works. But with that being said, we have to give the nod to Dylan Harper on the field goal percentage. We have to give the nod to Ace Bailey on the 3-point percentage, though. Again, he's a sniper at 37% out there. That's going to translate to the NBA as well. But coming back, 19 points per game for Ace Bailey. Compared to Dylan Harper's 20, so we have to give Dylan Harper the nod there. He's a good 1 point per game ahead of Bailey. 1 steal for Dylan Harper, where Ace Bailey has 1.1. 0.6 blocks for Dylan Harper, where Ace Bailey has 1.4 blocks. This is misleading though. Dylan Harper is the better defender out of these two. Don't get that mistaken. He's just a pest out there. I mean that in the best way. If you're not familiar with Stephon Castle, I'm trying to think of another good comparison for Dylan Harper. I guess it would be Drew Holiday. That's who people were comparing Stephon Castle to as well coming out. But Drew Holiday, I think he was 6'5", and just a pest defensively. He's always guarding the primary ball handler, and Dylan Harper is going to be doing the same thing when he comes out of college. He's either going to be guarding the primary ball handler, or if that other team has a shooting guard that's more dominant than their primary ball handler, he's going to be guarding that guy instead. But yeah, again, make no mistake, these numbers are misleading. I'm not saying Ace Bailey's not a good defender. That's not what he's known for. He has the 1.5 blocks. He is very good at getting those weak side blocks where, he comes off of his man and swats someone's shot when they don't see him kind of coming from the blind side and things like that. He's 6'10", and again, he's such a raw talent. He's still learning how to be in the right spots defensively, how to create offensively as well. But yeah, these defensive numbers are misleading. Again, please comment below. Let me know what you think about their defensive games and overall games. But Dylan Harper is the better defender as far as I'm concerned. He can guard 1 through 3, and his impact is not going to be reflected in his numbers. You're just going to have to watch the games, and you'll see he's just contesting every single shot and just making life really hard for the opposing team's ball handler. The 4.4 assists for Dylan Harper, only the 1 assist for Ace Bailey. Again, they both play on Rutgers. They both play for the same team, so they benefit from each other because they're both superstar level talents. There's a lot of eyes and attention on either one of these guys when they have the ball, and that opens up things for the other guy. If Ace Bailey has the ball, it's easier for Dylan Harper to get open and make things happen because people aren't watching him. if Dylan Harper has the ball, it's easier for Ace Bailey, to move around and create things for himself. And then Dylan Harper's such a good playmaker that Ace Bailey gets easy looks and gets quality shots off of Dylan Harper's playmaking. Um, so again, it's a mutual relationship. They benefit from each other, but then again, they have to split those two numbers amongst each other. I made the point in another video. If Dylan Harper was on a different team, or Ace Bailey was on a different team, um, just if they both had their own team, their numbers would be more inflated. Their numbers would probably be higher across the board just because they would be probably more the focal point and not have to split numbers amongst each other. Um, but it's a tough thing to compare because again they do benefit from playing together. Rebounds per game, 5 rebounds per game for Dylan Harper, which again he's just such an impressive player. 5 rebounds per game at the point guard spot. I feel like that will translate to the NBA level. I would not be surprised to seeing him get 5 rebounds along with 5 assists at least per game at the NBA level. But then Ace Bailey, 8 rebounds per game. I think it'll translate to the NBA level as well, but I'd probably see him being more like maybe 6 or 7 rebounds per game coming out, and then as he gets more physical and puts on some more muscle, gets more of an NBA body, I would say, he can get more rebounds if he wants to. I don't know Kevin Durant's career high in rebounds, but again, they have a similar frame coming out, and I feel like Kevin Durant is probably maybe not the best. That's a really good comparison for Ace Bailey though. You can compare him to Brandon Ingram as well. They have similar frames and similar outside perimeter style games, but just with how slim Ace Bailey is right now, just like Kevin Durant, Brandon Ingram, I don't see those guys being huge rebounders at the NBA level. But again, like I said, you can get 6 or 7 per game with him just being so tall, and being able to get weak side rebounds, weak side blocks, and stuff like that. But with that being said, we have to give Ace Bailey the edge in rebounds. We have to give Dylan Harper the edge in assists. Ace Bailey, again, like I said, Ace Bailey's got him on the blocks and the steals. So we have to give him the edge just numbers wise. But again, don't be fooled by that. Dylan Harper is the better defender. I don't want to say it's not even close. That's kind of an insult to Ace Bailey. But I'd say Dylan Harper is just definitely the better defender. Please comment below again. Let me know what you think. But Dylan Harper just makes things so tough for the ball handler. Again, Dylan Harper has got him on the points per game. Moving along, free throw percentage, 73% for Dylan Harper, and then 60% for Ace Bailey. These are both surprising to me. I think Ace Bailey will be at least a 75%, 80% free throw shooter once his career gets started. He doesn't have a broken looking free throw form. Same with Dylan Harper. I think Dylan will be more like 75, 80%, because he shoots at 35% from three. And then Ace Bailey shoots the 37% from three. So I think that's an aberration, especially for Ace Bailey. I'd be really surprised if he wasn't over 75% free throw shooting, even coming into his rookie season. I don't know. That's just so random. But I think he'll improve that. Then I also think that Dylan Harper is better than a 73% free throw shooter. But we'll just have to keep working to develop that, and we'll see what happens. Mainly Ace Bailey. I just think that's so strange for him to be at 60% as a free throw shooter, yet be at 37% as a 3-point shooter. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. But again, 50% from the field for Dylan Harper, 46% from the field for Ace Bailey. I already mentioned that earlier, but Dylan Harper, 4% better field goal percentage shooter, which just speaks to his basketball IQ. He just gets quality shots. He can already get in the post and bully smaller point guards. Then he's too quick for some of these larger guards trying to defend him. So he's a good mix between the point guard and the shooting guard position, where he's just a tough combo guard to defend. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's tough to choose one over the other. I'm a Spurs fan. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I'm gonna have to make a choice. Who I would choose on the Spurs team if we had to pick one of these two guys. Um, I would choose Ace Bailey personally. If you're a Spurs fan, even if you're not, please comment below. Let me know which team you're an NBA fan of and which one of these two guys you would pick if you had to pick one of the two. And then, yeah, just let me know who your team is and why you would rather have that player to meet your team's needs. Because, like I said earlier, it's all about what your team needs at the time. I would rather take Ace Bailey for the Spurs right now because we already have Stephon Castle on the perimeter. He's kind of similar style player to what Dylan Harper is. They're both just dogs on defense. They're going to hound the perimeter ball handler and make things really tough. So we already have our lockdown style perimeter player in Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle, I don't use the word very good, but he's good offensively. I think he'll end up being very good. He's been flashing lately and having some 20 plus point offensive games. So we already have that checked off. Again, we have Wemby as our perimeter defender. What we're missing personally on the Spurs team is a scoring small forward, and Ace Bailey would definitely check that box. Um, if I had $1 million to bet, and you told me, hey, I'll bet you your $1 million that Ace Bailey will not average 25 points in any season in his career, I would bet you that $1 million. Ace Bailey 100% is going to average 25 points plus in at least one, most likely multiple seasons of his career. He's just such a pure scorer already. And like I was saying earlier, he's a raw talent. He still has so much room to develop, and to be averaging, 37% from three, 19 points per game, and just being such a raw prospect, still learning so much like Ace Bailey is. That's what we would need on the Spurs team is a pure scorer like him. And then, I'm sure our staff would love to develop a talent like that. Um, but yeah, I was gonna make the example. If you were a team like, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good example. Basically, if you were a team that needed a point guard or you needed a defensive-minded point guard, I mean, Dylan Harper's all that. He's a playmaker. He's a scorer. He's just an all-around point guard. So I mean, if you're a team that needed that, then of course you're gonna draft Dylan Harper over Ace Bailey. I can't think of an exact team that would be a good example of that right now. Um, Maybe like the Phoenix Suns. You already have Kevin Durant. You have Devin Booker. You have two high caliber scorers. So it wouldn't really make sense to draft Ace Bailey if you were the Phoenix Suns hypothetically, because you already have Kevin Durant, you already have your Ace Bailey on steroids and Kevin Durant. So in the Phoenix Suns case, it would make more sense to draft a Dylan Harper type all around, um, more of a defensive minded point guard that would help Phoenix more. But you kind of see what I'm saying. It just depends on what team it is and what they kind of need for their team at the moment. But yeah, if you made it to the end, please comment below who you would pick for your team, which team you're a fan of, and kind of why you think that player would fit better on your team. Thank you again for watching. Please like below and subscribe to the channel. I have some repeat viewers on the channel that haven't subscribed yet, and you guys liking and subscribing really helps my channel grow. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you guys again next time.